We have a unique demography in this country, 220 million people today. 70% of those people below the age of 30 years. And if you dial it down, 43% below the age of 15. So we're a youthful population. We're very uniquely placed to service the world, to service Nigeria and service the world with the skills that the world needs. No, don't go yet, please. Please keep that slide. And with our current birth rate, in 25 years from now, we have a population of about 400 million. So we have emerging crisis in our hand. We need to uniquely skill our youth. And that's what we're doing with TVET. And there's something missing today. We have about 5.2 million people, students, leaving secondary school. Only 1.8 million gets into any of our tertiary institutions, universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. You have about 3.4 million people, citizens, young men and women, being dropped on a yearly basis. Where are they going? And those are the people. We see you, we hear you, we're bringing opportunity to you from today. This is a huge demographic gain for the country. And that's what we're tapping in today. Let's the next slide. And that's why we're very clear with this. We knew where we're going with this. We came out clear, 6 high priority areas as part of our Nigeria Education Sector Renewal Initiative. First one is TVET. That's where we're here today. We also have our expansive agenda. STEM with 2 N. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medical sciences. We're moving with full speed on our strategies on our after-school children to reduce these numbers and give them opportunities. Then, the 4th one, a girl child education. We have a Lumina program that we've launched, and we have several things we're implementing. We've gone far policy stages, and we're seeing early results. Data and digitalization is a big part of our education, early transformation. Of course, as well, quality assurance. But let's go to where we're here today. Next slide. We carefully curated the skills. Before we came, there's there are about 100 and something skill sets. That's so unwieldy. It's unmanageable. So we sat down for the last 6 or 7 months. We worked so hard to carefully connect the missing skills and what the market needs. We've done labor gap analysis. We know what we need. So we limited the skills that we'll be training people on into these 7 categories. Construction and infrastructures, you can see all the components there. Digital and media skills, you can see all the components there. Technical and automobile skills, you can see all the components of what we'll be doing. Specialized technical skills, you can see refrigeration and air conditioning, plumbing and pipe fitting, woodwork, carpentry, and joinery. Renewable energy, we have a look at what we need now and into the future. You can see what we're doing. The president is big on CNG. Energy transition, reducing our carbon footprint. And that's why we have so many CNG plants being built now. We also have cars being retrofitted to do CNG. And that gives you almost 80% reduction in the cost when you compare it to the cost of PMS or diesel. We have clear skills. We're going to be training young Nigerians on agriculture and livestock, and as well as creative skills. And if you look at all these 7 areas, we've carefully curated them so that there are lots of these areas that women will feed into. Let me just talk about beekeeping. There's several areas in the northern part of the country that if you do that, you're making so much money. The Vice President told me, the Minister of Agriculture told me just recently about wheat farming. If you cultivate an acreage of wheat today, you make net profit of almost 3 million naira per acre. If you have 100 acres, you can figure that out. If you have 1,000 acres, you can figure that out. That's almost 3 billion in profit a year. What job can be better? Our young kids, with all due respect, we have our tertiary institutions, but go get life skills. That's what will change the world. We're not inventing anything today. Let's look at countries that have done this. Germany built its economy on technical and vocational skills. 500 years after, they've still the leading industrial power in Europe. Look at what South Korea did. Let me tell you a data that somebody just quoted. That this is clear data that I got a few days just last week. In 1970, the GDP of Nigeria was about $150 per capita. That was the same GDP of South Korea. Today, GDP of Nigeria is just $1,600 per capita. Guess what the GDP of South Korea is? $36,000 per capita. What did they do? They did the right thing. They focused the economy, designed the economy based on technical, vocational skills, so that they can, and they remain the industrial power of South Asia today. Singapore is doing the same thing. China is doing the same thing. India is doing the same thing. So we're not inventing the way here. We're just doing the right thing for this nation. We're doing the right things for our youth. And that's what this president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, wakes up every day to do the right thing for the youth of this country and for everybody. And I'll repeat myself, as we train these youth, we're mapping them to get jobs. They will be there. They will be well trained. The main difference between what we're doing today is just not training for training's sake. We've carefully curated this with what I call reverse Pareto. Pareto rule. What's Pareto rule? Pareto is what's success. Success is 20% policy and 80% implementation. So what we're doing with this TVET program, we're only going to give them 20% of their time will be on didactics. 80% will be spent on practical skills. They will be at those centers. So by the time they are done, they're very, very well trained. They're confident in their abilities that they've gotten good skills. So this is a 360-degree change, a sea change that will drive our country into an industrial power, that will move our country from a resource-based to knowledge-based economy. Next slide. So we carefully plan this out. You have the Master 6, Master 12, and the 3-year program. The Master 3, Master 6, we will use the skill training centers. And we're doing this, we're using a lot of private institutions that are accredited, that will be accredited and will be monitored. So we're creating a new, different value chain in the private sector education system. The Master 6 program, 6-month skill training centers, this will be totally hands-on, and anybody can get in. You don't need any formal education. And at the end of it all, by the time you're finishing, you'll be NSQF certified. National Skill Qualification Framework. This is an international certification that will make you, your degree is valuable, is recognized anywhere in the world. You will get NSQF at the end of it all. And we carefully partner with other sector areas where we've talked, we're all on board, and we're using an NAPTEP as a standard certification, but they will be the awarding body. Will be listed. The various awarding body will be listed on that certificate. Now, and we know we've identified the courses, the skills that you can learn in 6 months. Master 12, that's our Vocational Enterprise Institutions. Several of these were built many years ago. Government promised them that investors should go and build them. They trusted the government. They built these Vocational Enterprise Institutions. Government did not patronize them. But let me tell you today, all the investors that have invested in it, you will now get value for your investment. We're patronizing you. We move a lot of money into the sector that will enable you to build more infrastructures, skill and upskill your teachers so that you can give us the best. So we have that, the Vocational Enterprise institutions that we'll be using. There's some entry requirement for that. At the end of this all, NSQF certificate. 80% practical, 20% didactics. And I will now have a 3 years technical program at the federal and state technical institutions. The entry requirement, NECO, WAEC, and if you had previous learning skills, we can do your NSQ, get your NSQ, that gives you admission as well. At the end of it all, you get the National Technical Certificate and the National Board Certificate, as well as NSQ certificate. Next slide. And now, what have we done differently? We're incentivizing our youth to get life skills. We will pay them $22,500 every month. Every month. We will pay their tuition fee at those skill technical centers, those vocational enterprise institutes, and also the federal technical colleges and the state technical colleges. We're not just going to pay these schools pittance. We're paying them decent amount of money so that they can have enough fund. We're rebuilding a different value chain in a technical and vocational education sector. So, as many students you have, you get paid per student, but you're going to be carefully accredited based on the high standard we've set up, and this is being monitored this will be done by the MBT Nigeria Board for Technical Education. As I told you earlier, we're focusing heavily on practical skills. They will spend 80% of their time, which averages about 3.5 days, at these mastercraft centers. We've mapped out these mastercraft centers into the large industries, medium-sized industries, and smaller-sized industries, as well as the artisans out there that we're carefully vetting, accrediting. So let me give you an example here. We take an artisan that does tiling. We meet, how many students can you take? He says, I can take 10 students. We'll pay him 30,000 per month per student. So that's 300,000 of discretionary income to him. He will train those students, and what will happen? As he trains those students, he has 10 students to use to expand his business. He has 10 students additional to use to expand his business. And every month, if you look at that, 300,000 per month, once he expands his business, he can come back and say, oh, I can take 10 more. But what we would do, those artisans would have been pre-qualified, vetted, and we're just not going to leave it like that. We're actually finalizing that, all the processes to hire 774 PMOs, project monitoring officers, that will go and ensure that students are there. And we're also using technology to geofence that they're there. So you can't cheat this. Every student that gets admitted, we will use their NIN. So we're using technology to prevent any fraud here. And now, as those students are finishing, and the president of the Air Force Mechanic of Nigeria said, oh, she was worried, legitimate concern that what are they going to do? We're going to give them entrepreneurial grant in different ways. We will give them starter pack. MBT and some of our industry partners, will sat together. The starter pack, what an electrician needs to work, what a plumber needs to work, that starter pack is there. I wish we could demonstrate that to those starter pack. Each of them will get starter pack based on their skills and trade that will train them on. And those other ones, if they want to do their own business, we'll give them entrepreneurial grants. And now guess what? As we're discussing this plan with the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that has so much belief in the youth of this country. So we go to entrepreneurial grants. The president said, what about they need more money? I said, go talk to the Bank of Industry CEO and discuss how he can do a hard-on low credit for them. So as they're going, we don't want to create entrepreneurs out of these children. And guess what? Today, we're lucky we have youth that are endowed. They're very spirited. They want to succeed. They think big. So as a government, what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu government is doing is to give them everything they need to explode in their abilities. So they'll get top credit as well. So this has been carefully created. We'll be training these youth to give them the skills to go work for people, and the ones that can work for themselves, we're going to support them through the entire process. And what we've done here, for easy deployment, we've leveraged NEFund. NEFund already has existing technology that works. They've been paying students monthly stipend. They've been paying universities. So NEFund will help us. They're going to demonstrate what they've done to us in terms of the portal during the course of this morning. We're using NEFund platform to pay the students, pay the schools, and pay the mastercraft persons as well as the artisans. Next slide. Next slide, please. Is that it? Okay, that's it. So this is real. Today, this portal to admit students will open. And let me address what the MBT ES is saying. You said 46,000, and you came here and apologized. We're going to be training more than 46,000. So there's nothing for you to apologize. We'll be training hundreds of thousands. We have a president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that believes so much in the future and destiny of this country. And more importantly, our youth. The president has given up a lot of money to do this. And we're mobilizing every resources to do it. And if we finish that money, we'll go back to president. I can tell you, president will give us more. So we're not limited. We're going to be training hundreds of thousands. So Nigerian youth, why TVET? Today is your day. This portal will open today. Go there, go apply, and start getting meaningful life skills. I congratulate the youth.